Okay, guys, let's walk through the website. The website, again, is wds2020.net. We've been putting that up over the last few months. We just want to make sure that you know exactly where the website is. Let's take a look first at the homepage. Of course, the homepage, you'll see the menu of everything you can find at wds2020.net. We're not going to concern ourselves with everything. We're going to look at the homepage. We're going to look at registration. We're going to look at the FAQs, and then we're going to take just a minute to look at a couple of the resources, really just one resource that you might need if you haven't registered yet. So on the homepage itself, it's very pretty. It flashes, Vision World Discipleship Summit 2020, but then the conference is July 2nd through the 5th. The summit is July 2nd through the 5th. So everything starts on July 2nd, which is a Thursday, and ends on July 5th, which is a Sunday. The whole conference is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So as you're making your travel plans, just make sure that you pay attention to that. The conference starts on Thursday evening at about 5 o'clock. That's when they're going to open the doors for the first general session. And so you want to make sure you have enough time in there in your travel that you get to the hotel, you're able to go to registration and get a lanyard, and you can get to the first general session Thursday evening in plenty of time. So that's the first thing there. The dates, the most important thing always when you're planning to go to any event. What day does that start? What time? And there's more about that on the FAQ page. They really want you to register. I would encourage you, before you click register now, if you haven't registered, don't click register now. Go to the registration page. And we're going to look at the registration page in a minute, but don't click register now. There's more information you'll want at the registration page. So we're going to look at that. Let's see here. I have a nice little countdown timer with days, hours, minutes, and seconds. Right here, they're asking that you leave your first name, your email, and they will update you. And so if you give them your phone number, your email address, they'll update you with everything going on with the summit in 2020. Which will be great. You don't even have to register to keep getting updated. So you can fill your name in there and get updated even without registering. They really want to answer any of your questions. So let's say you haven't gone to the frequently asked question page, or you did, you looked at all of these tabs, you had a question and you couldn't find anything under any of these menu options. Please feel free to go ahead and click I have a question, who do I contact? That's going to get you to the FAQ page, or you can also send a support ticket, and they will be happy to have someone get back to you and talk to you about what your question is. So they may point back to the FAQ page, but someone will give you an answer. They know all of the answers by now to the questions that most of us are going to have. So there's that. Let's keep moving down here. Registration is now open. Again, before you click register now, go to the registration page. We're going to go to that in just a second. But before we do, I want you to know that they actually have a very handy budget application right on the page. And so it'll help you to figure out all of your travel budget. So please do take a look at that. Now, this will help you with adding up all your plane tickets or the dates for your rental car, or even gas. If you're going to rent a car, you can go to AAA.com and they have a trip planner that'll estimate how much your gas is going to cost. That's pretty helpful in terms of budgeting. So you'll need that. Plane tickets, rental car, gas, hotel. We'll talk about hotel in just a second. You can fill all that in, how much you think you're going to spend for food. Probably want to multiply that by 10% or 15% because you'll probably have more food than you think unless you're super disciplined. So anyway, this is a great budget page that'll help you get a roundabout figure of everything you're going to need to budget for by July 2nd of next year. So it's super helpful. You can use it. What it does not include is your registration cost. So you're going to have a budget for that, but also you're going to have a cost there for registration. So now let's go over to the registration page before you even register. If you've already registered, awesome. Just so everyone knows, there's different items. There's the International Leadership Conference plus the delegates meeting. There's lots of meetings going on. Those are sold out for the early birds. If you want to go to one of those, that's fine. You can go to one of those. But most of us, but you have to pay the registration price for those. Most of us are going to be going, and it's going to cost the adult price. The super early bird is sold out. The early registration is sold out. Now there's just regular registration, $195. So that will be what you'll pay. I'm just going to close that. We're not going to register right now. But that is the cost for registration for adults right now. There's a different cost out on the site, and so you're probably going to see 195 all the way up through probably around next May. Um, there might be more information about that, but I think it's probably around next May. Uh, Youth, 11 to 18-year-olds, they still have an early special. So even if you don't register, if you want to register, register your kids now, that's completely fine. If you want to register your kids 3 to 10, that's completely fine. Everyone's got to be registered because everyone needs a lanyard for the sake of security. There's going to be around 18,000 people at this summit, and so security is going to be super important. Campus students, there is still early registration available for that. I would get in there and register. If you have a campus student as well, get them in there to register for that. One thing to know there, this is only for people who are going to be entering school in the fall of 2020. So if you're going to be going back to school, you're going to be a sophomore, junior, senior, this is for you. If you are graduating 2020 and going to college in the fall of 2020, this is for you as well. This is not for adults, anyone who's in the campus ministry but not enrolled on their way to college for the fall. They need to pay the adult price. If you're part of the campus ministry but you're not in the campus, you still need to pay the adult price for your registration there. Okay, so let's go over to the FAQs, and we'll answer some more questions here. There's other information about registration. When you get into that process, you'll see, like, I don't know the exact date that 195 goes up to, but I'm sure it's later because they'll want to register as many people as possible for the least price they can. But on-site is going to be $210, so it's going to be $15 more if you really want to go, but you didn't get to register at all. You wanted to budget and you don't have the money now, but you're going to have it on site. I think that's even better. Don't spend what you don't have. If you're going to save up and register at the same time that you pay for your hotel, I think that's fine. However you're going to do your budget. Let's look at the FAQs here. So they have a nice greeting here, and then they give some basics. But let's get down to what people really want to know. All right. They have a searchable page which you can go to, which might be helpful. But most of your questions can be answered from here. Also, they have that option. If you need to change or cancel your registration, you can go in and look at that information right here. How much? Again, go to the registration. What time does it start? There's different parts of the conference, but the thing that we need to know is that the first general session will begin at 5:15 on Thursday, July 2nd. Oops, that came up there. So 5:15 on Thursday, July 2nd. That's when the first conference is going to begin. Oh, look at that. The ILC, Family Conference, ICMC, Singles Conference, those will all begin the morning of July 2nd. Oops. Man, so you really want to think about getting there Wednesday night because a piece of the conference is going to be going on the morning of July 2nd. So if you can get there Wednesday night, that's ideal because you're paying for this. So you want to get everything you can out of it. So I would plan on arriving, paying for whichever hotel you're going to stay at the evening of July 1st. That way you'll be fresh, ready to go. You'll already have your lanyard, and you'll be able to enjoy the conference starting July 2nd. So again, everything starting the morning of July 2nd. Just the first general session is going to be on Thursday. Wow. So we want to really consider that. When you get to the FAQ page, that's really helping us with our planning, right? Because now, okay, I was planning on being there Thursday at lunchtime so I could go Thursday evening, things start. But now we know that things start Thursday morning. So you want to get your plane tickets or your rental car or whatever. You want to plan on arriving Wednesday evening so you can be ready for Thursday morning. Okay, can I book my hotel? What if I need to change my reservation? Most of the hotels, you can book them now and you don't pay anything until you go to the hotel. So, in terms of budgeting, what you need to know is you won't have to pay until you get to the hotel. I would also say this. I looked earlier online today and I actually saw, so Rosen Inn, if you look at the hotel prices, Rosen Inn is the least expensive hotel at 119 plus tax. The conference has negotiated that we don't have to pay a resort fee. Every day there's a resort fee. So every hotel in Florida charges not just the cost of the room plus tax, but also a resort fee. So we're not paying the resort fee. I did see some hotels that were like $80 a night on some other websites. So if you want to look for it and you can get a hotel Wednesday night, July 1st through Sunday night, July 5th, and you want to get a better rate, go for it. I would say the resort fees on the Rosen are probably going to be about $20. I saw a price of $70 at the Rosen Inn for those nights, and so $90 plus tax. You're still saving about $30 a night. So feel free to look. If the conference rate is the best, awesome. If you can find a better rate for the nights you're looking for at one of these hotels, the Rosen Inn, Plaza, Hyatt Regency, Hilton, Rosen Center, then go for it. That's what I would suggest. But just talk about the details. Remember, it's the cost plus tax plus a resort fee at any of these other websites. This is the cost that's been negotiated for conference attendees. But you can pay whatever the best price is you can for the closest hotel that you can. You're going to have some great fellowship if you stay at one of these hotels because it's going to be full of disciples. It's going to be awesome. Can I stay with other disciples in Orlando or nearby cities? You can read this whole thing, but please don't ask anyone because everyone in Florida is being asked to come into Orlando. Even people in Orlando who live in Orlando are probably going to be staying at the hotels because they want this rich fellowship. They want to be together. It's going to be like heaven there. It's going to be awesome. So please refrain from that because our brothers and sisters who live in Florida, in Orlando, are being asked to stay at a hotel. More information about hotel booking. Um, Make sure you read all of that. Read everything about the hotels you see here. If you go to Google or you look for better rates at the hotels, make sure you've read everything. You ask all the questions you need to ask. That's important. Also, when I looked at that price for the Rosen Inn, just another little tidbit there, it looked like a great price. But what I would do is if it's other than something like Orbitz or Price Line, yeah, that's it, Price Line or Kayak or one of these well-known companies, you want to go to review whatever the company's name is on Google, and it'll give a review of that company. You want to find out if it's a fake or not. I recently saw people getting plane tickets on a website they thought was for Delta, but it was not Delta. They had all pictures of Delta. There was Delta in the website name, but it wasn't Delta. So you want to be careful working with places that you're not really sure about. Just make sure you're sure before you put any money on it or your credit card or anything like that. Okay, do I have to register? Everyone's got to register. Even the kids, 3 to 10, need to be registered because of safety. We want to make sure everyone going in has a lanyard and we can trust what's going on there. We're going to have about 18,000 people at the conference, and so safety is going to be so important. I'm sure I haven't read this, haven't talked to anyone about this, but not only will there be ushers, but I would imagine the conference center itself will have security guards there and they'll be looking for people with lanyards. We want to make sure that all of our adults are safe, all of our campus students are safe, and absolutely that all of our kids are safe. So everyone needs to be registered for every event. Even on the Sunday, we would typically invite people to Sunday worship at a summit or something like this. We're not going to be doing that. Everyone's got to be registered. You got to have a lanyard, even for Sunday. So keep that in mind. Everyone's got to be registered. Can I book a flight? Of course, you can book a flight. This is great information here. Typically, airlines won't book more than 11 months in advance. Most deals and sales are about 150 days in advance. So around January, February, that's when you want to start looking at prices. I would encourage you to write down all the possible prices for flights, Syracuse to Orlando, even Rochester to Orlando. Sometimes it can be so much less expensive if you fly out of Rochester that it's worth it for you to rent a car from Syracuse to Rochester and then Rochester to Syracuse back. I know it sounds crazy, but man, look at strange deals like Syracuse to Orlando or Syracuse to Tampa or Syracuse to Fort Lauderdale. Check Rochester to Syracuse, Tampa, or Fort Lauderdale. Compare the prices. You'll find some amazing differences there sometimes. Also, I'd encourage you to check out Allegiant Air and Frontier Airlines. These are no frill airlines, but sometimes they can be so much less expensive, especially if you if you buy your tickets 5 or 6 months in advance. So I would encourage you to check that out. It's a 3-hour one-way nonstop flight with Allegiant and Frontier. It's not going to be your most comfortable, the best coffee you've ever. It's not going to be that experience. But for your family to get down to Orlando, this might be something for you to look at. Again, that's Allegiant Air or Frontier Airlines. Charlotte and I, we always fly there with them when we go down south, and I always enjoy it. I especially enjoy the price there. So do consider that. Again, before you go to the homepage and start trying to fill in numbers uh, for um, for that they have some actual numbers there. Like, go ahead and look at the hotel. What day are you thinking about getting there? Are you going to get there Wednesday night? Are you going to leave Sunday? Or are you going to leave Monday morning? So you can reserve your hotel and you can put a pretty accurate hotel price in there. You may not know the resort fees, but you if you're off by, let's see, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you might be off by $100. It might be $20 a night resort fees, but you'll be pretty close, and you can have your plan here to get your budget. Look at the actual. You can probably get an estimate of plane tickets for that time from an Allegiant or a Frontier. Take a look. Plug that into your budget. Think about your family. Are you good at preparing? There's a place down here for meals. Shala and I typically will plan to have breakfast uh, in our hotel room. We'll have cereal and milk, and we'll ask if there's a refrigerator and bagels and cream cheese and that kind of thing and fruit. And we'll also make sandwiches for the day. So we try to save. We try not to spend any money for breakfast and lunch. Maybe we'll have something for dinner. So you can actually plan that. Plan how much you're going to spend for food. But try to get the best estimate of your rental car. Man, if you're going to rent a car, you're probably going to rent, like we'll rent a car, then we'll stay somewhere overnight, and then we'll drive again because it's about 18 hours, I think, to Orlando. So we'll drive 9 hours one day and 9 hours the second day. So I've got to not just think about the rental car price, but also the price of 2 extra hotel nights if we're going to do that. Usually for a family of 4, it's worth it to stay 2 hotel nights and to rent a car. But you have to make that decision for you and your family. So one last thing, resources. We're going to look at the resources page. If you haven't registered yet, I would encourage you to look at the registration instructions. You'll click on that. There are 16 pages of registration instructions. It says at the top of the page, here's a walkthrough of registration so you'll know what to expect. Please be patient. Please be patient. You have to register yourself, which is pretty detailed. If you're married, your spouse, that's pretty detailed. If you've got kids, you have to register each individual child individually, which is pretty detailed. So I would plan on giving it, if you're single, give it 20 minutes. If you're married with 2 kids, me and Shyla, I think it was about an hour for us to register. I would say here, let's see, there's one thing that I would just encourage you to do. There's going to be an option after you've put in some information. I'm not going to go through all of it. There's an option to um, let's see. There's an option to, still going. Still going. I think I missed it. Sorry if I'm making you dizzy. Close your eyes because I'm going to go right back up to the top really fast. Okay. I'm going to look here. There is an option. Let's see. I think it might be not the bottom of this one. Yes, the bottom of this one. The app. There will be an app for the conference. These are so helpful. They have the schedule on it, all that kind of stuff, so you don't have to have paper. But they're going to ask you, I want to be included in the app. That'll be your name and probably your phone number, your email address. That's really cool because if you know other brothers and sisters in the fellowship, they can look you up and you can connect. You can call them, you can probably text them right through the app, and you can plan on having coffee or breakfast or dinner together or just a prayer time together. It's so encouraging. So I would encourage you to be included in the app. That'll help you to connect with people that you know outside of Syracuse. If you don't want your information in the app, you can absolutely click that one as well. But it'll be super helpful if you want to connect with other people to click yes. Again, this is 16 pages long. So you want to give plenty of time and be patient because you do not want to do this more than one time for yourself, your spouse, or any of your kids. All right, that's all I have for this. Guys, thank you so much for paying attention. Again, the website is wds2020.net. Please start preparing, start getting things on paper, get your budget ready, have a plan. If you have any questions or you feel like there's any barriers, make sure you're talking about it. I really hope that the whole church can make it down to Orlando for July 2nd through 5th for the World Discipleship Summit Vision Orlando 2020. Brothers and sisters, let's enjoy the rest of our time together.